Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, we are finally back. It's been 24 hours. You've tried to get things done around the house, but you just can't get this beautiful face out of your mind. It's consuming you. The tentacles of what I'm telling you, the wisdom is just infiltrating every part of your life, and you just don't know what to do. My name is Brandon. I'm with the Rags Riches community. In fact, I'm the CEO, I'm the CFO, I'm the COO, and the Supreme Ayatollah. And you are here right now primarily because you have nothing else better to do. Hex on air in the house. Where's Terrafin? I feel like you're talking a little trash. The Church of Universal Oneness. Peace and prosperity, everyone. I think that's the blessing. We get that blessing every time. Facing reality. Boom. Terrafin, what's up, my man? Dougie Peach. Bing, bang, boom. What's he talking about? See, Terrafin, he's mad, man. He's slipping, man. He's slipping. He's trying to put up that drywall, and y'all are acting crazy on him here. Laughing. Finbear. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Blues, right? No, not blues. Hex, 647, 100% staked. Brizology, oi, mango junkie. What's happening, everyone? Tyrannosaurus Hex. Okay. Roof Dog. J Everything. What's good, fam? Wild SJ appears. Outstanding. Footsteps. We're going to do something a little bit different today, folks. All right? This is going to go either really, really bad or this is going to go really, really good. And you get to participate, which is kind of cool too. All right? So here's the game. You tell me, +1 in chat at the point in time where you laugh out loud. Okay? All right? +1. Now, it's on the honor system here, and you guys get to see me. I'm going to try not to laugh out loud. I'm going to try to not laugh out loud. Now, you got to have some thick skin here. We're going to see how this goes. All right? This is going to be like first 7 or 8 minutes. Then we'll get into the news. We'll just try it out. So here's the rules. If you laugh, you have got to do a +1 in chat the moment that you laugh. If you don't laugh and make it all the way through, at that point, you probably hate me. But you know what? That's okay. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this right now. I don't know if you're familiar. Some of you may be. But here we go. Oh, Lord, have all the mercy. Here we go.
And how to analyze the situation that you may be in or want to be in.
Okay, let's take a look at that right now.
Okay, so this is the Universal Hot Crazy Matrix. It's everything a young man needs to know about women. I've developed this on my own over 46 years of living on the earth. So this is how it works. You have your crazy axis and your hot axis. Hot is, as usual, measured from 0 to 10. We're all familiar with that. Crazy is measured from 4 to 10 because, of course, there's no such thing as a woman who's not at least a 4 crazy. So you got 4 to 10. This is your hot crazy line right here. Very important that you keep in mind where the hot crazy line is. As a rule, this is your no-go zone. We do not hang around and date and marry women who are not, at least in our mind, a 5. So this is your no-go zone. You don't go here. We just rule this out. Life is better this way. That's the way it is. All right. Above a 5 and to about an 8 and below the crazy line, this is your fun zone. You can hang out here and meet these girls and spend time with them. That's your fun zone, but keep in mind when you're in the fun zone, you want to move out of the fun zone to a more permanent location. Okay? So that's the fun zone above a 5, hot, below an 8, hot, and below the crazy line. This means these are most of the time not crazy. Okay? Above the danger zone, above the crazy line, we have the danger zone. This is your redheads, your strippers, anyone named Tiffany. This is hairdressers. This is where your car gets keyed. You get a bunny in the pot. Your tires get slashed, and you wind up in jail. Now that we have some of the chart filled in, we got a couple more pieces to put in. But at this point, understand something. This is not a static environment. This is a situation where you have got to use this matrix over time to develop some reliable data. It's like a dope chart, okay? Because at any moment in time, any woman that you have previously located on this chart can vanish from that location and appear anywhere else on the chart. So what you have to do is over time collect some data. And once you have a cluster of data points, you can begin to consider that reliable. Now, moving on, you have this zone here. This is below the crazy line, above an 8 hot, but still, you know, about a 7 crazy. This is your date zone. You can stay in the date zone indefinitely. These are women that you introduce to your friends and your family. They're good looking and they're reasonably not crazy most of the time. Okay, so this is, you can stay here indefinitely. Now, above an 8 hot and between about a 7 and a 5 crazy, this is your wife zone. Okay, when you meet this girl, you should consider a long-term relationship. This zone is not scaled to size. This is a representation and not an actual. This is not a pie chart showing you how many of these people are out there. This is simply a representation of what you're after. You want to be 5 to 7 crazy above an 8 hot. That's your wife zone. Okay. Now, below a 5 crazy and above an 8 hot, this is your unicorn zone. These things don't exist. If you find a unicorn, please capture it safely, keep it alive. We'd like to study it and maybe look at how to replicate that, okay? So I was explaining this to a guy one time and he said, wait a minute. I met this girl and she's like smoking hot. She's like at least a 9 and she's chill. She's totally cool. She's like not even a 3 crazy. I said, you're telling me you've met a girl, she's a 9 hot, and she's like a 2 or a 3 crazy. He said, yeah, man, I like her a lot. I said, you should be careful. That's a dude. You're talking to a tranny. So you got to be careful because down here below a 4 crazy and above an 8 hot, you're probably talking to a dude. That is the universal hot crazy matrix.
All right, Dana, that was pretty good. Now,
Guys, I feel like I just need to stop the stream. I just need to stop the stream there. Did we lose people? What's our body count now, dude? We're up to 90. Dude, I can't do it, man. Dude, I've known about this for years, and every single time I come back to it, dude, I'm dying. It's gonna be like the first thing I show my son when he hits puberty, man. I don't even know what to do now. Oh, gosh, man. All right, let's check chat. Dude, I couldn't do it. I lost it, man. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's get back through these chats here, man. +1 Tiffany. Terrapin says, what is this? D Marina says, redheads. +1 Roof Dog. We got some laughter here. I think modern social media is making the crazy line go lower and lower. +1 X on here. Exia says, what the F am I watching? Dude, what you're watching, what do you mean? You're watching Hex, Pulse, Pulse Hex, Pulsechain, World News Today, and Janet Yellen. That sexy, sexy woman. +1. Oh, Tiffany. Church of Universal Oneness. Do I even have the Reverend out here, man? +1 in this stuff. Hairdressers, Facing Reality. Hex McKinsey. +1. My girlfriend's name is Tiffany with the PH. Like I said, the wife is a hairdresser. Bro, you know all about it. In which zone are we now? Does a bottle red count? If this guy doesn't have a lot of money, he's in no danger of getting past a 5, dude. Sometimes you get lucky, dude. Sometimes you get lucky. Maybe you fall in love with the unicorn. You never know. All right. A wild SJ cracked. All right. Plus, that finally got me, man. Oh my gosh. Funding Jim's laughing. Bro, we got everybody in here cracking up, man. Turn up in the bear market, baby. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. I like it. Me gusta mucho. My wife moved to danger zone because of the Pulsechain delay. Bro, she's about to leave you. You better tell Richard Hart, man. You better tell him. What number do I put if I'm crying in shame? Who is this guy? Dude, it doesn't matter. We found the end of the internet, folks. It's official. Black Hack Ferrari, Magnus Marlis, a real scientist. Oh, shoot. All right. Cracking and stacking, baby. Charles Stone, Brandon Davis, a.k.a. Supreme Ayatollah, leader of the R2R community. Turn up. So, Tiffany, dude, you never know, man. I mean, that's the truth. You never freaking know. I mean, do I even go into the news today now? I mean, what do we do here? I'm confused. What do I do with my hands? Finn Bear says, did you hear about that lefty loon judge stalk? Yeah, that's normal. You're a Supreme Court justice, dude. You're screwed. I mean, it's going to be bad. Thanks for the laugh. Much needed. Yep. All right. Here's the preacher. I even asked my wife if she was a Finbot at first because I was shocked. I'll be watching for unnoticed. Crazy. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, here's the cool thing. Tomorrow, I'll play the one for females to men. That's really funny, too. All right. Sup, Rags. Keeping it rolling. All right. Here we go. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Let's remove this. Let's stop screen. You guys know what we do now. We're going to take a look at this daggone chart. I took you to ultra highs. I'm going to bring you down to ultra lows and just breaking you down, dude. It's just mind control. Got to make you experience all these emotions. I don't even know how to use this thing. How do I use this? Oh, there it is. Let's use this. All right. Let's go up to the hex chart here. And blah, 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 blah. Let's do this. Add. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Hopefully that fired you up a little bit. This is the hex chart. All right. What do we have going on here? Well, this is what we have going on. I have a nice little baby pump here. You know, all these whales trying to time the market. Unstaking 40 million X here. Restaking 40 million X for 25 days. Trying to get those copies. Who knows what happens here? Who knows what happens? There's a lot of crazy stuff that's happening at 6:45 a.m. on Friday. CPI comes out. We're going to see what inflation is doing, or what the government's rendition of inflation is, because they've changed the definition, the CPI, the actual variables that go into it. Do you know they've changed it 20 to 20? I think it was 22 times. 22 times, right? So who knows? If it's good news, which I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be good news, because Joe Biden visited the Federal Reserve. Well, visited one of the primary members, Janet Yellen, of the Federal Reserve. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens here. Why did he make that trip? Why did he go down there? Why did he talk to the private Federal Reserve? Who knows? Actually, we do kind of know. We're going to kind of go over that today too. So Hex is doing its thing, folks. If you're staked, you're not worried. We're in a bear market. This is normal. This is normal no matter what chart you pull up in the entire history of mankind in cryptocurrency. This is the time of rebirth. This is a time of shedding the old and growing up the new. And that's what's happening here. Let's check our furry little friend Hedron. Falling below, or actually right at launch price. So let's see if that holds, or see if we go down further. Pulse Doge. We got a little Pulse Doge action here. You know, Pulse Doge has done relatively well in this bear market. I think it's held its value pretty darn well. So we'll see what happens with that. Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin doing? Well, Bitcoin's kind of stuck in this channel. I tend to think that it's a distribution channel, and I think we're going to have one last fall off the cliff to completely destroy the confidence that anybody has in cryptocurrency moving forward. That's what I think is going to happen. What's that based off of? It's just based off previous things. There's shakeouts, man. in that point of massive capitulation is coming. At that point, we will see a rebirth. We will see a turnaround in the market. Now, how long does this last? I don't know. Let's take a look at. Let's take a look at the total crypto market cap. Do I have that chart here? Yes. This is something interesting to ponder. If we look at the total crypto market cap, as calculated by TradingView, we go all the way back to like 2014. The total crypto market cap has respected this trend line very, very strongly all the way back 2014. It's like 8 years ago and probably beyond that. But right now, there's only been one other time, which was COVID dip. We dropped under this. We dropped under this line of support, this trend line, about 36%. And right now, we are touching that trend line. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I tend to think that we're going to fall. I think we're going to fall underneath it. I think that we could definitely see underneath a 1 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency at large. I definitely think we could see that. Let's take a look at the DXY. What's our old furry little friend DXY doing? Well, it's chopping about. Maybe going to all-time highs. Well, not all-time highs. What am I talking about? All-time highs. Let's take a look and see what all-time high would look like. Oh yeah, we ain't getting anywhere near that. What is this? Going all the way back to March 1985. Yeah, we'd have to go up another 100%. The U.S. dollar is in trouble, folks. We'll talk about that too. Talk about also who or what entity might overthrow the dollar and why. We got all sorts of fun stuff to get into here. All right. Speaking of crypto, let me take this off here and let us share. This was a good one. And I'd like to say that I'm kind of proud about this in a way, because I had been talking about this for a while, and we had slowly seen him turn. You guys remember this guy? Look, he's lost a little weight. I was really worried about him about, I don't know, like a year ago, man, because he straight up had he had dark raccoon sacks under his eyes, bro. Like, this dude was unhealthy. He hadn't been eating. He's starting to slim up a little bit. He's looking good. And then he comes out of nowhere and he starts saying some stuff like this. I think he's sticking up for Richard. Can you believe it?
You look like an idiot talking bad about you. Look like Peter McCormick coming out and talking about how Hex is a scam because it had a 70% drawdown or an 85% drawdown when Bitcoin has consistently had 85% drawdowns. I like Peter, but that was a bad tweet.
Ooh. Let's hear it again.
You look like an idiot talking bad about you. Look like Peter McCormick coming out and talking about how Hex is a scam because it had a 70% drawdown or an 85% drawdown when Bitcoin has consistently had 85% drawdowns. I like Peter.
Look at that. Look at that coming to his aid. That feels good, right, folks? That feels kind of cool. But we've seen it. We've seen it for a while. We've seen the shift. We've seen the shift in behavior, right? He's sticking up for Richard. And I knew things are changing quite a bit. I think they've got a relationship. I think they're kind of bros on the down low. He sacrificed for Pulsechain, Pulsechain, all that stuff. Yeah. He had some Hex and he sold their Hex, right? He said he made like 50 G's on it or something. But here's the thing. When I heard Richard actually getting after the community for going really hard on BitBoy, I knew at that point that they had some type of relationship going on. And I like it. I think I said this. I mean, that guy is going to be a huge force for good next bull run because, he started his channel in 2017. He's got like 1.5 million, 2 million followers now. He's going to have 3 to 5 million followers. And if he's on our side, woo, that's some influence, man. And people listen to him. And he's changing his tune. He's not taking paid promotion anymore. There's some good things happening. Some good things, man. We gotta pick these things out of the briar patch, man. We gotta make some good things out of this bear market. If only I had a video like every single, like the video we just saw. Plus one in chat if you learned something about your future wife or about your current wife. Either or. All right, let's check this out. What's our next article? This article is from CoinDesk.com. Neil Stevenson coined Metaverse. He coined the term Metaverse in 1992. Now he's building one. The author is working with a number of crypto veterans on a new Metaverse-focused based layer. It's called Lamina 1. In 1992, science fiction author Neil Stevenson coined the term Metaverse in his hit novel Snow Crash. Now, 30 years later, he's teaming up with another crypto OG, Peter Vesesnes. I probably just murdered that dude's name, to bring this vision to life. The duo announced Wednesday that they're creating their own metaverse-focused blockchain called Lamina 1. Vesesnes will now be the project CEO, while Stevenson will serve as chairman. Okay, so it's a new blockchain, this and that. I went through the article. I found this interesting, right? This is the only paragraph out of this whole article that really stuck out to me, and that's why I want to share it with you. When I look at the things that have made the top chains work, it's really just how successful they've been at getting their community all the resources they need and helping them succeed. What are we wanting to do? What we're wanting to do is bring in very, very high quality IP partners, enterprise partners, help everybody meet each other and just build cool stuff. That stuck out to me. That stuck out to me because with Pulsechain, that's got to be the vision that we have. We've got to be glued together. We've got to be supportive. Don't get me wrong. We got to have a strong immune system in our community. We got to weed out the bad players. We need massive support. We got to get excited about things. That's what we got to do. That's what we're going to do, right? I think I like everybody in my chat. We get good vibes in here every single day. Every single day. You guys are showing up, smile on your faces, except for Briz, except for Roof Dog. We got Roof Dog, we got Woke Dog, we got Hex Down Under. Dang, man. All right, let's check. Mud Hog. Wake Dog. We got some dogs, hogs, and crazy stuff. Learning lots of hearing about Pulsechain Hex and Pulse Hex, yeah. BitBoy has over 1 million followers. Let's see how many. Let's see. That's the cool thing. We have the internet. We could verify this. BitBoy Crypto YouTube. How many followers is fool? I thought he had like 1.5 million or 2 million. Let's see what this guy has. Come on, internet. 1.45. Okay, cool. 1.45. And he's getting healthier. Good for him, man. And he's a Southern boy. I mean, he's from North Carolina. That's good. Crypto Heartbeat. Oh, guys, don't tell him what we did at the beginning of this thing. Lord have all the mercy. All right. Crypto Wonder Podcast in the house. The real Reverend. What's up, Reverend? How we doing, brother? How we doing? All right, so let's check out. This is actually, I want to take that and I want to put it at the end. Yes, that's what we'll do. All right, let's talk about some more things here. Let's talk about merge testing, right? Merge testing on Ethereum. What is it? Why does it matter? You guys might have heard that they did a merge today. And they're working on some test nets that run in parallel to the Ethereum mainnet. So Ethereum developers are using new testing infrastructure to assess network mechanics and client readiness ahead of merge. All right, and this is also from CoinDesk.com. As the Ethereum network inches towards the merge and transitions from a proof-of-work system to a proof-of-stake, developers are using new testing infrastructure to assess network mechanics and client readiness. The first major test, known as a shadow fork, came in April. We covered it. We covered the event in depth in a previous edition of the newsletter, but the gist is that the test went well. It has been repeated 2 times since. These types of tests are crucial to the advancement of the network because they allow developers to find bugs in the code that can be otherwise missed using the dev nets. On April 11th, the shadow fork, for example, developers uncovered a bug having to do with gas limits being artificially raised by miners. The second shadow fork on April 23rd was even more promising, with every one of the network's clients' combinations surviving the transition and staying in sync for the first time. The most recent shadow fork took place on May 5th and included testnets on syncing through merge, which revealed a few small but fixable points of improvement. So the whole point here is, guys, Ethereum is moving along, and I've had a lot of people reach out to me. They're freaking out. They're saying like, what's the deal here? If ETH 2.0 beats us to market, what type of implications is that going to have? What type of implications? I would say this. The first thing I say is layer ones. People really like layer ones. People enjoy being involved in layer ones. That's very important to know, right? Secondly, we're not necessarily competing. Now, we say we're not competing. There is competition there. Like, you got to live under a rock. Okay, there is some competition there. But here's the thing. Nobody's getting those free copies on Pulse 2.0. Nobody's getting the system state copy. If you're a developer and you want to create a project, you've been priced out, the gas fees are still going to be astronomically low as compared to ETH 2.0 proof of work. That's even if they launch it this year. They're probably not going to launch it for a couple of years, folks. If they do launch it this year, it's not a big deal. We're going to still keep doing what we're doing. The point that I made today, you got to understand that Pulsechain was made for Hexkins. That's what it was made for, guys. Richard didn't have to give us that copy. Richard didn't have to give the rest of the world the copies, the airdrop. He didn't have to. It was going to be successful without it because of our community. Now we just have the opportunity to kind of increase that curve a little bit, increase the steepness of that curve. So that's very, very important. Now, I just want to point this out. Crypto Heartbeat, he's been rewinding, and it doesn't even look like he lasted a minute. He didn't last a minute. This was at this was at 6:06. I'm rewinding now. It's 6:07 plus 1. You guys just join, man. You got to rewind, dude. I was dying. I think I still have freaking elevated blood pressure right now. All right. So that's my whole spiel on that. Wanted to cover that. Okay, this is another one. New York's crypto regulator publishes formal stablecoin guidance. The DFS laid out a strict reserve and attestation requirements for stable coin issuers in an effort to better protect consumers and financial institutions. So this kind of just goes into everything. According to NYDFS's guidance, stablecoins, the value of which is intended to be pegged to the U.S. dollar or other assets, must be backed by a reserve composed of U.S. Treasury bills with no more than 3 months to maturity, U.S. Treasury notes, some type of U.S. Treasury bonds, or reverse repurchase agreements that are collateralized by Treasury bills. It's kind of funny. They want us collateralized by Treasury bills, Treasury bonds, reverse repurchase agreements, but they can't get their own damn house in order. They can't get their own damn house in order. And we're hearing all sorts of stuff from all sorts of different directions about what's going on. So I am going to share with you guys this craziness. Let me start back here. Let me minimize that. And let's see. What's the best one to do first? I think we'll do this one first. Okay. Let me see. No, that's not her. Let me see. Yeah, that's her. Okay, cool. So let's check this out here. Folks. I'm going to share it. This is the White House press secretary. And I want you to tell me. I want you to put true or false in the chat. That's all I want you to know. I just want you to tell me that. True or false in the chat after you listen to this. The topic is inflation. Let's listen.
What I'm trying to say to you is that the economy is in a better place than it has been historically. And so we feel here at this administration, and other experts as well, is that we feel that we are in a good position to take on inflation. We are in a good position to really start really working on. What I'm trying to say to you is that the economy is in a better place than it has been historically. And so we feel here at this administration, and other experts as well, is that we feel that we are in a good position to take on inflation. We are in a good position to really start really working on.
Oh, gosh, man. How does that make y'all feel, man? It hurts me. It freaking hurts me, man. Can you imagine being in her position? She sold her soul to get that position, man. Now she's going to be good for the rest of her life after she gets out of here. Doesn't matter how bad the administration is or how bad everything screws up. Her career is now made because she's the White House press secretary, but she's paid to lie. She's paid to lie. She's paid to twist. She's not paid to tell the truth. Can you believe that she stood up there and said those things? Can you believe that? It's out of control, man. It's out of control. They think you're stupid. They think you're stupid, man. They just got to outright lie. They just got to outright lie, man. And they think we don't see that. They think we don't clip that. They think we don't share these types of things. They think that we can't pull up charts. They think we can't go to the websites. We can't see the analysis from the Federal Reserve. They think we can't read the CPI reports. Can you believe that, man? This is the problem that we have on our hands, folks. We've elected these people, and as soon as they get to Capitol Hill, they just get absorbed. They don't have the power. There's nothing left that really can be done, right? Especially when they're standing up there saying these types of things. We got to do something about it. There are things that need to be done. Non-violent things that need to be done. There are ways to do things. Non-violent. Very, very important. It has nothing to do with violence. All right, let's look at this. I wanted you guys to see this because now we're going to talk about Janet Yellen. And sorry, Janet Yellen, she's the Secretary of the Treasury, not the Fed. Janet Yellen expects inflation to remain high, shrugs off effects of Biden's spending spree. So on one hand, you've got the administration and you've got these folks saying, hey, listen, like, we're serious about, decreasing the national debt and decreasing the deficit. They're saying all of these things, but on the other side, their actions are not backing up, not even one word out of their mouth. Janet Yellen said, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says that the inflation is at unacceptable levels, but it's expected to remain high. I do expect inflation to remain high, although I very much hope it will be coming down now, she told lawmakers during a hearing on Tuesday before the Senate Finance Committee. However, Yellen denied that the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan played a critical role in causing soaring prices. We are seeing high inflation in almost all developed countries around the world, she said in a response to a question by Senator Steve Daines, Republican, Montana. They have very different fiscal policies, so it can't be the case that the bulk of the inflation that we're experiencing reflects the impact of ARP. Dude, clown faces everywhere. Massive, like, we're talking about clown faces with wings. We're talking about clown faces with 4 legs, 6 legs, 8 legs, spider clown faces, like clown face on Mike Tyson. We're talking like moon clown faces, guys. That is crazy. When you're lying, it's like, okay, let's hear what else she says here. At the time when the Biden administration was pressing Congress to pass ARP, economists warned that a combination of supply chain issues and excessive government spending would cause inflation. Compounding, actually, she says, if Congress continues to enact new government spending that further increases consumer demand while supply remains constrained, inflation could become worse. And that's not even from her. That's from senior economist Jackie Benson at the United States Congress Joint Economic Committee. Yellen, who served as the chair of the Federal Reserve from 2014 to 2018 and who is a supporter of low interest rates and expansionary monetary policies, insisted for months that the inflation was transitory before admitting that she was wrong. She says, I think I was wrong then about the path that inflation would take. Guys, these people are crazy, man. They don't even have their stuff together at that level. They can't even get their lies right. She sat there, you heard the press secretary, and then you heard Janet Yellen. You heard what Janet Yellen says. She's secretary of what did we say? The Treasury Secretary, right? Can you believe that she actually said that? I can't even believe it. That's out of control. We're seeing high inflation in almost all developed countries around the world. They have very different fiscal policies, so it can't be the case that the bulk of the inflation that we are experiencing reflects the impact of ARP. Let me point this out, all right? Hold on. I found this earlier. Let me point this out. She says that because inflation is happening everywhere else in the world and they don't have the same fiscal policies in the United States, that there's no way, listen to this giant leap of logic, that there's no way that we're experiencing it because of that bill that was passed that put 1.9 trillion in. Let's talk about the countries that had these bailouts, had these stimulus packages. Germany, UK, France, Italy, Spain. Who else here? Australia, Switzerland. That's a large, some of those are a large majority of the EU. What do you freaking mean? Come on, guys. Get the heck out of here. Oh, we're blocking you. Get out of here. Dirty, dirty bots in the chat here. Horrible bots. It's frustrating, folks. It's frustrating. But that's why these channels exist. That's why you exist. That's why you can go learn on your own, do your research. You might not know a lot now, but the more that you learn, the more it's just like, you freaking kidding me right now? You freaking kidding me, dude? And don't get me wrong, guys. I think we made some major mistakes during COVID with Donald Trump. I think so. Sacrifice the long term for the short term. And now it's just exacerbated because of the fiscal policies that we have now, with the administration that we have now. And it's all on your back and it's all on my back. If you're not in the United States, it still sucks for you. Let's talk about why. Why does it still suck for you? You know, U.S. dollar has been the primary world currency for the past 80 years. And prior to that, it was the British pound. And here's the issue, that many countries had to come off the gold standard during World War I. And they didn't have enough gold to pay for military expenses. And the Allies were they're buying most of their equipment and most of their supplies from America. Okay? And for that reason, America held the highest amount of gold reserves. Now, after the war, countries couldn't return to the gold standard because America held most of the gold, and they couldn't do a one-to-one with the money that they had because they'd been printing money. They didn't have the gold to go back to the gold standard, so it was taken off. The currencies were backed by nothing, right? For example, Britain went off the gold standard, I think in I think it was in 1931. So in 1944, you had 44 countries. They met in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. These countries decided that their currencies would be pegged to the U.S. dollar because the U.S. dollar was backed by gold, right? So that would make sense. That was logical. They were happy with that. They couldn't peg their own currency because they didn't have the gold to do it, so they just pegged it to the U.S. dollar. And this is kind of when the U.S. dollar officially became the global world reserve currency back in 44. Now, by the 1960s, the U.S., they'd been spending money like absolutely crazy, just piling up the debt. In other countries, they're afraid that they were basically just holding garbage currency, a currency that had a lot of debt backed by it. And the amount of spending, the amount of debt that the U.S. was undertaking was just not sustainable. So the threat was that people were going to come and try to, there was going to be a run on the U.S. dollar. They were trying to cash out. So in 1971, Richard Nixon, Richard Nixon took the US dollar off of the gold standard. And the US dollar at that point became fiat currency. Fiat currency meaning it wasn't backed by anything. So that's kind of the history about what happened. Now, who's going to dethrone the US dollar? A lot of people say China's going to dethrone the US dollar. One thing's for sure, you know, why would they be doing all of these things legislatively with the US dollar to hurt it if they thought there was a problem? So we'll kind of think about that real quick. We'll go down that road. And sorry, guys, I'm going to cough real quick on mute. The Sudafed's wearing off. Mud hog, Sudafed's wearing off, man. So we got to think about that, right? All right, so total US dollar global reserves. Global reserves held in USD. 58% of all the global reserves are held in USD. And everybody says, oh, China's coming, it's bad, it's bad. Dude, China's actually in bad shape, believe it or not. You got second place. Second place is the euro. They hold about 20%. Third place is the Japanese yen. Fourth place is the British pound. In fifth place comes China, right? Their currency. Fifth place. And that's fifth place, I think, with only, I want to say it's like 3% or maybe 4% of the total global reserves. The issue here is it took China 22 years to go from 0% to 3% of the world's reserve currency. In that time when they just went absolutely bonkers with their economy. So it's going to be very, very difficult for a country to be able to kind of dethrone the United States as the global reserve. It's because there's no other alternatives out there that are strong. And even with the euro, the problem with the euro is the bond markets, they're just spread all over the place. The infrastructure, it's not put together. So for the foreseeable future, the U.S., it's strong. It holds most of the global reserves. So what's the issue with China? So let's talk about this. And guys, I got this information off of a channel on YouTube. It's this Chinese guy that does daily news. I love him. I forgot what his name is, but I'll link it in the description. It took 22 years, like I said, to go from 0% to 3%. China has 1.4 billion people. The population of China is expected to get cut in half in the next 50 years. There's a problem, guys. You guys remember, was it 2016? The Chinese government stopped the one-child policy. It was terminated in 2016. So China is having a major issue with population, right? They went crazy and they crushed population. The Chinese population is too male. The Chinese population is too old. The Chinese population is too few right now. So it's going to get cut in half in 50 years. People are having fewer and fewer children. Reproductive rates have fallen so much that it's slowing economic growth. Now, what have you guys been seeing out of China? You've been seeing the effects of COVID, and you've also been seeing something else. The Chinese people, man, they put up with communism up until this point because it has produced results. It has caused them to have a higher standard of living, the older folks, than what they were used to. But you got to understand this. In my opinion, communism is about to rear its really, really ugly head, probably in the next 10 to 20 years. You're going to see the effects of what has to happen and what has to happen to retain control when the whole thing collapses in on itself. And the citizens, they're not going to deal with that. It's going to be civil war, man. It's going to be horrible. And you're going to see this, another failed experiment. This is what we're going to see. Working age population has fallen by 40 million since 2010. 40 million people working age since 2010. It's going to fall another 35 million in the next 5 years. There are more seniors than young people. Children make up 17% of the population. People over 60 make up 60% of the Chinese population. Healthcare benefits, pensions, all that stuff, they're not going to be able to pay for it because they're not going to have a workforce to be able to pay for it. and they're really, really heavy into manufacturing and industry, that those types of things. They're not going to have those people to fill that. So here's the thing too. If there was going to be some sort of attack on Taiwan right now, or within the next 5 to 10 years, is probably the strongest that they're ever going to be, or they're going to be for the next 100 years, or maybe 50 to 70 years at least. So if they were going to attack Taiwan, it would probably be in that time frame. The government's one-child policy, man, that destroyed it. Kids are too expensive in China. People don't want to have children. Even though that was terminated, they're not having kids. It's kind of ingrained, not only socially in their heads not to do it, but also it's just expensive. They got to keep expenses low. When things like this happen, when you have famine and this and that, like, you know, when you don't thrive, you don't want to bring children into this world. And that's what happens all over the world in all sorts of economies when things are tough. So if you look at the reproductive rates, China is at about 7.2 per 1,000 people. That's the birth rate. If you compare that with America, we're almost double. So we're at about 12.5 per 1,000 people. And if you take a place like Brazil, it's like 14.5 per 1,000. I think India is at like 19 per 1,000. So the question becomes like, okay, yeah, everybody's touting China. They're touting their military. I'll say this, militarily, the United States is ahead of every developed country by at least 50 to 75 years. And you have World War II to thank for that. That's important to know. You're not going to hear that from anywhere else. The media wants you to hate the United States. That's what they want you to do. But that's just the truth. We have all the major incredible defense contractors in the world are United States. Okay? We're the most battle-hardened people, technologically speaking, too. It's amazing. Now, does China pose a threat? Yes, they absolutely do pose a threat. They absolutely do. China's trying to get the Middle East right now to use their currency to pay for gas and oil, just like Russia's doing. So China and Russia, they want to be a team, but they can't because they're also competing against each other. A lot of stuff going on here, folks. A lot of stuff going on. We're freaking 50 minutes in. I've been neglecting chat. We're going to block that user. All right, let's check it out here. Whoo, going way up. No, we have to pull them down, unfortunately. All we are is just another fart in the wind, says Bender. Communists only understand force, unfortunately. Guys, I think we're going to see that. Like I said, next 10 to 20 years, we're going to see what happens. I think that we're going to see some travesties. I think we're going to see some really, really horrible things happen. Some massive human rights violations. When the citizens of China, they say, you know, enough is enough, and they rise up, and you're going to see the heavy hand of communism brought right back down on them. And it's sad. It's sad. Completion fails. Let's go, Brandon. Hey, that's my name. Brandon's my name. Dr. Rachel needs a meeting with Yellen. Talis 7, it says, I think, therefore I am. Erasmus. Heavy catch-up. Maybe when people feel enough pain, they're going to do something. It's all about pleasure and pain, folks. It's all about pleasure and pain. There's not max pain yet. Central banks own the dollar. Tail 7, if she thinks, then she clearly isn't the fit for the job. She said we think. All right, hold on. I think she dialed it back a little bit. She said something, but she took it back if I remember properly. Let's bring this back up. What does she say here?
What we're trying to say, what I'm trying to say to you is that the economy is in a better place than it has been historically. And so
she says what we're trying to say, and then she's like, oh shoot, what I'm trying to say to you. So she didn't want to use that possessive pronoun there. And I think that was on purpose. I caught that when I listened to it the first time. I'm glad you brought that up. I remember talking to old timers back in Nam, and they were talking about globalization coming to a means to an end. Oscar, what's up, Oscar? What's up? Far out aliens, what's going on? The Church of Universal Oneness has the Secretary of Agriculture Not yet. Who knows? Yep, horny bots. We got horny bots in here. Italy. What's going on? What's going on? Crypto Surfer 369 hammer time. Boom, 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 boom. Can't touch this. All right. Inflation numbers don't even include the cost of housing. Throw that in there. We're at 20% plus. You know what's crazy now? Let me tell you how they're doing, how they're looking at inflation. This is freaking wild. So let's say you got coffee, right? They are, instead of checking the price of the leading brands, so let's say they look a year ago and they say Folgers is $1, just for example, and then it goes up to $1.10 this year. That's a 10% increase, a 10% inflation rate. But wait, that's what they used to do. That's the right way to do it. You know what they do now? Now they're allowed to take the lowest out of all the substitutes for the premium leading brand of anything. Right? So if some knockoff great value substitute goes up a penny, then they can call it 1% inflation increase. You can twist and you can torture data any way you want to get the numbers that you want out of it. And that's the horrible thing about it. And again, it's just all part of this clown game. It's all a part of this, like, they don't let us operate that way, but they are allowed to operate that way, and it's horrible. I was trying to block and didn't have the tools in here. Yep. You know what's funny about this too? Inflation's the cost of housing. Guys, they send a survey out. They don't verify anything. The people who do respond, are they going to tell the truth about that? Are they going to tell the truth? No, they're not going to tell the truth. No, I'm not going to say my rent went up 75%. Yeah, they're not going to tell the government that. It's funny. It's just hilarious. 99% of the people I know don't know that printing money causes inflation and believes the official narrative. And you can't blame them, man. I was one of those people. I put a lot of trust. I put a lot of trust into people until I started doing my own research, man, and actually paying attention. And I never would have paid attention if it wasn't for crypto. I had so many different influences come, and I got into the Robert Kiyosaki folks, and I learned about real estate, and I started learning about taxes, and then things just started popping off in my head. I'm like, I got to learn more economic policy, discretion. It's bad. It's bad. But you're showing up here. If I learn something, I'll teach you. If you learn something, I want you to teach me. I always love the sound of the banhammer when you make it swang. Completion fails. Wrench me and mud hogs. We can help with all the spammers. Oh, yeah. I think. Hold on. So who else is complaining about not being wrenched? Who else is complaining? I know some of y'all freaks of nature. All right, we'll go here. Go to rags to riches. RagsRichesSquad.com. Then we go to YouTube. Stop sharing. You guys know you can go to RagsToRichesSquad.com if you want to share my stuff. It's just super simple. All right, we'll go to chat here. There goes all my wrench value. I feel like there's somebody else I can make other than those two. Anthony Munoz. All right, Dougie, you've been complaining, dude. You've been complaining this whole time. Okay, you're about to be knighted. Mudhog. Add mod. And then I'm feeling kind of squirrely right now. Anthony Munoz. You know why Anthony Munoz is getting rich? I'll tell you guys why Anthony Munoz is getting rich. Because that fool's 19 years old. He sacrificed for Pulsechain and Pulsechain, and he's got a full-time job. That fool's he's gonna be richer than all you guys. He should be like 30 years old. He's gonna freaking rule the world. Just remember me when you get big, Anthony Munoz. Anthony Munoz. And sorry, dude, I just doxed you, but you doxed yourself, so I don't care. Terrafin says, I dislike the stream. Thank you so much. Who didn't like the stream? Hit it or don't. Who cares? It's just rags. Exactly, man. I don't want you to be here if you don't want to be here. Bless you, bless you, bless you. I'm down for a French Revolution. You need that high quality, dude, bro. I've been in on it. I've got the severe, the Sufed. I've got all that stuff, man. I started seeing friggin' heffalumps and woozles earlier. You guys know about them heffalumps, man? Man, your truth bomb's making me want to go root. The experiment is fine. There's no failed experiment here. What we have is infiltration by communism. Guys, I mean, all right, this will be kind of cool. You guys want to see this? This is interesting. If you haven't seen this, this is probably one of the more important things that you need to see. Ideological subversion. And this guy was a KGB defector from the Soviet Union. Okay. Let me see. Let's see if I can add this. Stupid ads. Guys, you guys need to see this, man. Let me see. I need to Okay. All right. I got to find that. Hold on. Guys, this is important. Bear with me here. Very important, though. Oh, yeah. Here it is. Oh, yes. Okay. I need you guys to focus here. This is important. And the reason it's important, because I stand up here and I say all this crazy stuff to you guys, and you have the option. You can either believe me or not believe me. And it's very important to be skeptical about everything that everybody says, including myself. Very, very important. Don't take anything that I say to heart. You got to look this stuff up yourself. But I'm going to share with you something that it opened my eyes and caused me to do lots of research, man, over a lot of different topics. It caused me to read a lot of books about the Soviet Union and communism and the different tactics and techniques that they use with other countries to manipulate and to interfere in the political process. So you guys tell me what you think about this. All right? It's a 6-minute listen, so it's not crazy, but massively important in my opinion. This is like a basis of knowledge.
Bezmenov. Mr. Bezmenov, Yuri Alexandrovich Bezmenov. Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. Your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was already a Marxist. He was executed by a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan when first there was Taraki, he was killed by Amin, then Amin was killed by Babrak Karmal with the help of KGB. Same happened in Bangladesh when Mujibur Rahman, very pro-Soviet leftist, was assassinated by his own Marxist-Leninist military comrades. It's the same pattern everywhere. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defect to.
We begin today with a rather shocking event that took place last.
Woo! Guys, you can't sit there and listen to that and tell me that is not a freaking blueprint. It's not a carbon copy of what's happening. Did that freak you out when he said, yeah, it doesn't even matter if you give them the truth? It doesn't even matter if you take them to the former Soviet Union? It doesn't matter. If they see it with their own eyes, they won't believe it. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see why, like, things like who says this? Dougie Peach. Dougie Peach is talking. He says, yeah, do you guys see why the children are so important to this in the Department of Education and the public school systems? Does it make sense? Does it make sense now? You guys got to understand that, man. They talk about it in 1984. You hear me talking about it. I was talking about that red apple, right? There's an interrogator, and they bring the guy in, and the interrogator says, "What color is that apple?" And the guy says, "Well, that's a red apple." Interrogator says, "No, that's a blue apple." And then they beat him and torture him. They take him out, and then they bring him back, and they say, "What color is that apple?" And the guy's like scared. He's like, "Well, it's a red apple." And the interrogator says, "No, that's a blue apple." And they beat him up and they torture him. They take him back, and they bring him back in like a day or two later, and they say, "What color is that apple?" The guy's freaking out. He's busted up. You know, no sleep. They make you stand all night. They say, "What color is that apple?" And the guy says, "It's blue." You know what the interrogator says? He says, "No." He's like, "What?" He's like, "You don't believe that it's blue." And then they beat him. They beat him and tortured him and all that because he didn't believe it. It comes back the fourth time. "What color is that apple?" The guy very confidently says, "That's a blue apple," because he believed it. He believed that red apple was blue. And that's what they want you to do. They're going to keep pounding your brain. They're going to keep pounding your brain and make you try to lose grasp of what reality is. That's how that works. And it's not just here in the States. It's been done many, many, many times in different places before, guys. So you just got to arm yourself with knowledge. You got to know. You got to understand. You got to see these things. You got to understand what the red flags are. You got to watch where you're putting your kids, man, because they don't care about you, man. They don't. It's bad. Thoth says, "I think Brandon and I are going to reset humanity." Yeah, me and Thoths, we got a panel at PulseCon 2022. 20 minutes, just me and Thoths in front of thousands. Guys, I don't know. They're going to give me and Thoths the microphone in front of thousands of people. Thoths, there's a 99.9% chance we're going to get thrown out. You know that, bro? Oh, well. I'll tweet something out. Y'all can meet us at the bar. How about that? Let's see what everybody has to say here. We're about an hour, 10 minutes in. This is a good time to bounce. Cot G says, "Schmuck's a great word." I think we're getting educated on subversion. It's scary stuff, man. Useless idiots or useful idiots. Yeah. You guys, you see that part too? That was very interesting. All these people, all your neighbors, just the people that toe the line to the far left liberal progressive folks. They want to do what's best for their country, and they think that whatever the government's telling them to do is the best thing, even if it hurts their neighbors, their tattletales, and all that type of stuff. But you notice what he said. Those are the first people to go because they have the potential to be the most hurt and frustrated when they find out that it was all a ruse and all a lie to gain power. You see how that works? They're the most dangerous people because they're going to be the most emotionally damaged. They're going to feel taken advantage of. Thought that was scary. Mudhog says, "History, history, history. Teach your young ones." Guys, you got to read those books, man. You got to read all those books from the past that talks about this type of thing. Educate yourself. In the book, Behold a Pale Horse, he talks about the Department of Education and the agenda for dumbing down the children. Rags, any thought on the Victory Point launching on Pulse? I'm excited. It seems to be a good product. I like the fact that you can play for free. So with some of these play-to-earn games, it's like a slow rug pull. It's like a slow redistribution back to the company. But with this, it seems a little bit different. I like it. Just got back. What did he say? This appears to be turning all 4 stages into 10 right now. Well, that was back in the 80s. We're pretty much already there. They're just brazen now. They're just coming out. The past 10 years, really since Barack Obama took office, it's just, they're not even trying to hide it as much anymore. So, Godfather J6, what's up? Dougie. My first book trip down the rabbit hole. Samantha Kelly, 2 + 2 = 5. That's right, Samantha. Homeschool if possible. Guys, feel free to go in and interrogate your children's teachers, your young children. He talks about that in that video. He says children's minds are mush. You can fill it with anything. That's why they're the targets. That's why they're so helpless. You got to help your kids, man. And you got to be involved, because you're going to wake up one day and your kid's not going to be yours anymore. And then if it follows suit with anything else that's happened in the past, your kids are going to be the one that's turning you into the authorities. Can you imagine that? I can't imagine that in my kid. Most people won't see the truth until it's too late. Pain and pleasure. Mental disorder. Yep. That's why that's said. That's why they say that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Brandon Davis. It is about time for me to get out of here. It is blatantly obvious that all we have in this channel is bots. This is all fake engagement. I paid $200 for all of you guys. You guys seem to be very smart bots. You seem to be very, very smart AI. As always, do not like, do not comment, do not subscribe. Oh, Mudhog, you didn't get a wrist? I gave you a wrist, fool. What are you talking about, Wills? See, you trying to play it off here. Let me see. YouTube. All right, boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna give you a wrist, Mudhog. I don't like you that much, but I'll give you one. Whatever. It is what it is, shorty. Come on now. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna give you. All right, here we go. Where's Mudhog? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Mudhog. There you go, bro. There you go, bro. I don't like you either. Good. We're even. It's fair. It's the way it should be. Let's just tolerate each other every day. Thoughts? Thought you got to put your time in, thoughts. You got to put the time in. Terrify, you got to tell thoughts, man. People just run up in here, man. You got to put your time in, bro. Dang, crappy show, Rick Schmidt. Thank you so much. Thank you. Folks, it's about to get loud, so you know what to do. Turn that volume down. My name's Rags and Riches. My name's Brandon. Do not like, do not comment, do not subscribe. Ciao for now.